So you're on page 71. This one's called Quadrants. Can anybody see it from there and you want to read it to the class? Ivy, you feeling gutsy? No? You're being the bold one. Who's the bold one today? Joseph, you want to read it? No? You want to? Go ahead, Alex. This one, no. I want you to read this one here. Can you see it, though? It's hard to see, and my printer's going bad, so I had to, like, color over it. Good. Good. S for self. Good, good, good. Keep going. Good. Okay, so are you with me? Johnny, you with me? Okay, here it's a quadrant system. You know what quadrants are? Quad means 4, right? So a quadrant system takes you through like this. Here's the quadrant. And my marker's not doing so well. Okay, you guys, stop it right now. Turn. Watch this. Okay? 4 quadrants. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? Here's the first one. E. What's it stand for? I'm going to switch markers right now. What does E stand for? Employee. Yeah, employee. E, employee. With you? Okay. Employee. There you go. What's an employee? Go ahead, Ivy.
A person who works in a store.
A person who works in a store. Fair enough. How do they get paid?
I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, you may not know. Who's working in here? Somebody in here have a job? You do? Where do you work? Which one? Where do you work? Trabajo. Do you work on a job? Do you get paid? Do you get paid money? How do you get paid? I think you're saying by the hour, right? Yeah.
He said with money.
With money?
Yeah.
Good. But how often do you get paid, right? You work 10 hours and they pay you 10 hours times the hourly rate. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's where I'm going with it, right? So employee get paid by the hour. Okay, that's an employee. That defines it, right? You work for that company, you sign in when you get there, you work, you get paid, and you leave, right? Okay, what's the next one? S. What does S stand for? Yep. Go ahead, Evelyn.
Self.
What is it? And?
Employed.
Yeah, that's where I'm headed with this. Do you know anyone who is self-employed? What is it? Do you know anybody who's self-employed, and what is it? How about your parents? Any of them have their own business? Some of them might. It's highly likely in this room. Any of your parents have their own, I don't know, have their own company? Does this sound familiar to you? Okay, so self-employed is a person that has their own business and works for themselves. Does this make sense? You okay with this? Okay, so self-employed. How many employees are usually in a self-employed business? Usually just a few. Maybe sometimes only, let's say I'm self-employed. It may just only be me. Does this sound right? Now maybe I've got an accountant and I've got maybe a few employees that help me, but a small, very small business, self-employed. Does this make sense? You okay with this? You on track with where we're going with this? Okay, here's the next one, B. B stands for business owner. You following this whole thing yet? Are you guys getting on track with what we're doing now? Okay, go for business owner. Business owner's big.
It owns the place.
Owns a business, and usually when they talk of business, they're talking about greater than 500 employees. Right? Imagine that. So you see the difference between self-employed. It's me, I have a business, I do something, maybe I'm a consultant, I get paid, I kind of work my own time. Does this all make sense? But you move to this one, business owner, it's big, greater than 500 employees, and you own it. When you own this is a whole different venture. Okay? Okay, go to this one, I. What's I stand for?
investor?
What is an investor?
Ooh, isn't it not like a person who looks through a store?
It's a person who, say it one more time. Go ahead. Good job, Ivy. I appreciate you speaking up. Nice.
Who looks through the store, like a checkout thing.
No, not quite. I don't think so. Keep going though. Maybe I'll get back to that. Go, Dale.
Like someone's like saving.
Saving money?
I don't know how to explain it.
What's an investor? What does an investor do? What's an investor do? What's an investor do? Okay, so here's an investor. It's okay. This is the point of this, right? Because I want your brain to think about these different quadrants. This is coming from Robert Kiyosaki, by the way. He's a famous guy on finances, okay? And you're going to read some of his books in your life, I hope. All right? This is his quadrant structure. An investor makes money from money. If you buy a company on the stock market, Coca-Cola, and I buy $100,000 worth of Coca-Cola, right? That's money being put in, and that money is now making money back. You with me? In other words, the investor isn't spending time at the job, right? The investor doesn't go to work at that company. The investor is using money to make money. Does this make sense to you? How many of you, this is the first time you're hearing about this? You're like, I've never heard this before. Okay, so I love this because this could change your life. Here's the way this works. You're going to go to school, maybe college, and get a job. That puts you here. Fair enough? At some point, you're going to look around in your life and you're going to go, no, I need to own the business. You're going to be the owner. Okay, you're going to own that business. Sound good? Okay, but it's just you. It's small. Maybe if your small business keeps going, it'll grow to where you have 500 employees or more. Do you see the progression? And then at some point you might figure out, wait a minute, if I have money, I can use this money to invest in certain ventures, whether it be businesses or real estate or whatever, and now that money pays me back. It's not based on hourly at all. Does this make sense? Do you see the progression? Kinda. Okay, I feel like I'm somewhat on track and somewhat not on track. Okay? Well, so here's your goal in life. If you can see this far out, and I hope you can try, please try. If you can look beyond your current place right now, you're looking to where you want to be in this. Let me ask you this. How many of you want to be here? How many of you want to be this? Okay, good. I do too. I like this. That's what I am right now. That's what I'm doing right now. How many of you want to be here? Do any of you own your own business at the moment? Do you know young people that do? They're out there. Yeah. Okay, this is really off task. Do you know some people that like sell things on the side? Maybe at school where they're not supposed to, and I don't want to know who it is, if it is, right? Do you know this happens though, right? They take money, they go buy certain goods, they come to school, they sell it and make a little bit more. You with me? Okay, that's this person. Okay, good. At least we've got an example we know, right? You know this person, right? That's here. Will that person ever emerge into this one? Will that person ever have 500 employees? In that type of business, probably not. It's got to be a different thing. Something's got to shift for this. You with me? Okay, and then you get to the point where you're using money to make money, the investor. Tell me which quadrant you want to be in. Do you want to be in this one, Ivy? Oh, that's interesting. Do you want to be in this one? Interesting. Do you want to be in this one? You want to be in this one squarely. So that's interesting, but I want to push you to think that this actually might be the best quadrant to be in for a lot of reasons. Take taxes alone. Have you heard of the rich that don't pay taxes?
Yeah.
Guess who doesn't pay much taxes? Guess who wrote the code that says that they don't have to pay taxes? Congress. Your government. Your government wrote the code that says they don't have to pay the taxes. So when you hear about the rich not paying taxes, they're just following the rules. They're not breaking rules to do that. They're following the rules that somebody gave them. The actual government of the United States through the Congressional Tax Code. Are you with me? Guess who pays the most taxes up here, Ivy? This one. The employees of America pay all the taxes of America. And you know this is true. Just thinking about your rich people, your billionaire who are paying so little taxes, right? Okay, does this offend you, or does this interest you in terms of you want to know what this system's about? Because there's a couple of things we have to realize. Number one, you have to realize you're in a system. Sometimes the system isn't always fair for you. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you might want to think about where you want to be in the system and decide to move to a different place. You see the difference between the two? Yeah, I'm in it. Yeah, it's got control of me, so to speak, right? But I can move from these potentially, and the first step is knowing about the different quadrants. Once you know about them, now you can start to think, hey, maybe I want to be in a different quadrant when I'm older, right? You're at a point where you're starting right now. You have a lot of years to think about this, but if your brain starts to open up to it now, you could be here or here or here or maybe here 10 years from now or 20 years from now. Are you with me? And that time, it sounds crazy when I say 20 years to you, right? Because that's longer than a lot of you are old, but it will go by so fast. It really will. Okay, so, okay, here's your assignment. Do the best you can. The assignment on page 71 is write out the quadrant map and make notes to each one as to what they are and maybe considering adding your desire to be in one or more of the quadrants. You're going to write about what are these different quadrants and where do I want to be long term in my life. Fair enough? Okay. Go ahead.